Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing down here, but it's bigger. And we start off, same as before, with the ivory on the light areas. Now there are some light areas in here, like a secondary light source, so we want to put the ivory down here as well, and on the chin, and I think on the lips too. And this is where it's at its strongest there, so if you remember, we put the ivory on quite strong then, and then when we have areas like this, which is going to be quite dark, we only want just a little bit. What I'm also going to do there, because this is quite dark over this side, I'm going to put some grey in as well. Now I have put this grey in, but I want to put it in a little stronger because we've got darker areas. So there we are, that's in there. And the next thing I'm going to use is the pink. There's the pink. There's the pink. A little bit of pink. Now you can see as soon as I put this on, you start to lose some of the lines. So I think when that happens, you've got to start thinking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over those lines before I lose them. And this was 187, remember we used before. Oh no, we didn't. I tell a liar. I used 189, didn't I? That's right. And you want to put in the lines, as many as you can see. And I might as well put a little bit of lip in there as well. It's so easy to forget these areas. I'm not going to put it on the bottom, just there. And the lines. Now, once again, there's an awful lot of these lines, more than there is up the top, so it's going to take me quite a long time to do. That area there looks as though it might be a line, but it's not, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub that out. The reason I'm doing that, folks, is that there's a shading there. Not a line. When's a line not a line? When it's shading. And now we've got the grey. I just have to build it up again because I rubbed it out. Now I know what it is, it's shading, but I can actually use the 189 for that. Just to establish a little bit of there. Okay, now we've got the lines. Well, leave me now to put these lines in because you're going to see them. And I've got to work on quite a lot of different lines, and I'm going to make some of them up because I haven't drawn them all. That goes round to that one there. So let me carry on with the lining of the face, and then you can come back and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we can start the processes we've got up there. But I think that face looks gorgeous. The only thing I didn't do, and I should have done really, is made it just a little darker under there, because we're going to put a headdress on that in a minute, like that. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? Now we're going to follow the 189 with 187. This is just a little stronger, but more importantly, it's a better colour for our main subject. Now I've got to be careful here. This is where we can start putting a little bit of detail in as well with this. It's not irreversible. If for any reason I didn't like what I saw, I could change it now. This is where we're scoring now. We are going into all the little creases of the face. Now I put as many as I could in. it does seem, I know, an awful lot, but there are a lot. In a way, it's a little more tricky than the top here, because up here we've got eyes and nose and to work around, but here all I've really got is lips. And it's not quite so easy. Anyway, enough of those excuses. We've got to sort them out. Now, once again, I shall carry on with that. I'll do enough so that you can see how it's all going to work. You see already, we've got quite a craggy face there, haven't we? Well, I don't know why, it's not going to take me long, I might as well show you this. Because the next operation is really interesting, you'll find. Because what we've got to do is to go back over these once again, that's the third time, and make them stronger, because we're going to be putting some shading in there. Yes, it didn't take long, did it? I mean, there may be more. I may add more as I go along. The poor lad's got enough at the moment. Okay, let's go for it. Now, what I've done, I've got a nice new 283 as well. Now, this is the one that we need to use to strengthen some of these. In fact, I think I'll go over all of them, because when I use the other colours and the shaded colours, a lot of the colour here is going to fade away, and then I'll lose all the little creases and wrinkles. And I don't want to do that, having spent all this time on them, working them out and putting them in. And although it looks pretty gruesome at the moment, you remember that did the same. It will all change as we get further along with our colouring. That leads from there now. Okay, good. Okay, now that's it. This is the bit I've been waiting for. That's a lot of preparation work really, and it's a little bit boring. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in, I've already put in 132, and although I have put this in the creases and wrinkles, I need some of it in the body colour. It's a little bit lighter there. And the other colour I'm going to put in is grey. Now, this is the 230 grey. I'm going to make an appreciable difference to it, but it gives me a ground colour for all the other colours. And I think this looks pretty good. I think at this stage, no, I didn't do it at this stage up here, but I think I need to do it. I need to put some grey in. Now, I've got to be careful with this, because 233 is quite a strong colour if you press it, as you could see there. But I don't want it as strong as that. I just want it to have another tone. So it's what it does. It quietens down the stronger colours, which I'm going to be putting in a minute. And that's all we need. We don't need to do any more at the moment. And now we bring in Jolly 187, which is without doubt the main colour here. Here what I'm doing is I'm going to put it as a general colour first of all, just as I did up here. And now you can see the difference as I go down here. Look at the difference in the tone between what I haven't done and what I'm doing. And also, can you see that this is weakening too? All those crinkles and creases and wrinkles are weakening because we're using the pastel pencil on top, so really, really important. Now, that is good enough, I think, for a ground colour. What I might do now is I'll blend it. I'll use the colour shaper. And what you'll notice is, as I'm sure you noticed up there, I wasn't just going over the whole thing, I was still using the colour shaper to create contours and with much more deliberation, really would be the word, than just willy-nilly rubbing it. You also, when you're doing things like this, you get the feel of the subject. You get the feel of the skin, how it's working. And already, I think you'll agree that that is beginning to look pretty stunning. So now we've got to go back in with the wrinkles, and it's no point in doing the 187, it's all going to be now the 283. Now the 283 is going to work really well now, simply because we've already put colour on here now. We've got plenty of base colour, so it's not going to look quite so stark as it did before. And as long as these wrinkles show up, then I can come back in later and deepen those ones that we need to. Now just along here, I'm just over the edge of the mouth, because that is actually, we might as well start the ball rolling on that. Like that, and then under here. By putting just that little slight increase in pressure, you get the response, as you can see. Now, although I'm paying some attention to the reference pictures I've got to tell you that most of this is being made up. It's nice to do that because it makes it your own. I mean, this poor old Indian chief's long gone. You know, he's not going to be critical. And anyway, I'm changing so much of this picture anyway, the original picture or pictures, should I say, that no one would recognise it anyway. I mean, if it was a real person, I'd have to be perhaps a little bit more fussy. But I think I need a few more wrinkles here. Now, don't do any wrinkles you haven't already done. With the 283, you've got to use the 187, which I'm doing now. Good. So that's good. Now we're getting there. Now we're matching that side, but not quite, because now what we've got to do is to put some more strength in. And really, this is going to be the same colour depth of that. The cheekbone is kind of like a hollow here. And there's another one that comes from here, but you can't see much of that because it's hidden behind the headdress. Using the side of the pencil now, quite important to do that because we don't want any sudden pressure of the colour or some increase in colour, which is going to make it the word it would be odd, I suppose, would be the word. I was thinking at the time when I did that, I think I need more grey here. So I'm going to put some more grey in. And the 230 grey is a fantastic blender, so you can almost get away with that as a blender. You can see all those wrinkles losing them now. And we'd have to go back over yet again and bring them out. Now the other thing I need to do here is I need to lighten up, just as I did with the nose earlier. I'm going to put a bit of white in here now, just to lighten up the lights and the darks side of it. Just a little bit, but not too much here. I don't want, although it's lighter, I don't want it to be white like that. But down here it is. Now this is where you see that little division between the lips there. I'm trying to get that in. And also, it's quite light just as the nose would be like there. Good. And on the top lip, but I don't want to make this too strong, just a little bit of white there. Great. Now I think we can probably be just a little bit more forceful. Now this is once again the 283, but the 283 now is because I can put more pressure on, because now we have more colour under it. There's quite a lot of shadow in here, so we put that in. A mixture of 187 and 283 there. And then once we've got that in, we can then bring in 177 and just create just a little more. That's great. And the ivory pencil can also play its part, because where the white was very important for the very light areas, the ivory can come into play when we want to something a little bit more, well, a little darker than the white. Now that white needs to be there a little bit stronger. Now you see it's now beginning to pick up on the areas that we have above, all matching. This is going to be darker. There's only one way to get darker, and that is to use the 283 on its side. Just as I did. This is how I did the nose, if you remember. I really am showing you a lot of this, because I think it's really important that you see as much of this I can show you. Now this is interesting. Look, I've deepened that really. Whenever you feel that it's getting a little rich, you just put a bit of 187 in as well, and that will temper it down. That is lovely. And there's another area here that I've got to be mindful of. I'll add a bit more to that. Colours like, for instance, a little bit of red now, which is 118, can also go in. And just a little bit on the lips. We don't want to give him lipstick on his lips, but I think we want to put in just a little bit of colour. Now, just on the bottom part of that, I'm going in with 177, and you can see the strength there, but don't go too far. Come round, and then we want to extend that round to there. But the problem, if we continued that round there, what would happen is we would extend the mouth and make him look really odd, so we don't want to do that, so we use... That's coming along. Do I want any more? I think I probably do. Just a little orange here. We put orange up here, didn't we? So I'm going to put a little bit of orange down here as well. And then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the, let me show another colour shaper. Now you remember I did this at this point. What we're going to do is to bring a tone now I'll stop when I get so far, and you can see how well this is working. And you can hear that this particular colour shaper squeaks. You probably wonder, I mention that because you might think it's me, but it is actually the colour shaper. It's got a little squeak on it every now and again. Now, although it looks a bit too shaded and too fluffy, we're going to bring all of that back with the lights and the darks, mainly the lights in there. But we've got the lovely shading now that is really gorgeous. And now we can start thinking about putting, we've definitely got to go back once yet again with our 283 to put in. I didn't do this up here, didn't I? And this time we can be a little bit more forceful with it, and there's a little bit more strength there, and a little bit more just in the deepest part of that area. I've never dreamed of putting that sort of strength in earlier on, but now, see, it works really well. I don't think I need anything stronger. I think what we've got there is just right. A little bit more red and a little bit more orange. Oh, that's really nice. I like that so much. I'm going to continue that down here. A little bit more. A little bit of red and a little bit of orange. You need both of them. And we'll just put right. Let's go for it. A little bit more on it. And the reason I'm doing this is because you know that by putting that colour which I've already got on here onto the lighter areas, I can then go back in and use the white. White can give me a sculpturing look to picture, and even in areas like this is quite a strong white there, but we can bring it down and we can fade it, so we use it like a blender. Sometimes, like here, I don't want it to be quite so strong, so I use the white. It's a little bit lighter. Now just here where I've got a light section of headdress coming down here, so I don't want to make this area too light. Great. So what it means is it's pressure on the white. When you put a lot of pressure on, like that, you get this brilliance. But if you put just a little bit, you can then get some rather lovely shapes. And when you match that with the wrinkles, I would have to put this one in as one of the more difficult pictures. That doesn't mean you say you can't have a go at it, but it is quite hard to do any portrait work, but something like this is pretty tough. But as you can see, it can be done. You've got more chance with pastel pencils than you have with any other medium, really, to make it work. Well, now I've fiddled about with that quite a lot, so what I better do now is just advance it a little bit, because otherwise I'm going to take so much time up. But what I want to do really is I want to bring some of these wrinkles back again that I had before. And then I'm going to also deepen the odd one or two like that. A little bit of red. I'm just making sure that what I've got before I leave you, I've got the light up. Just remember that little dip that I showed you earlier there? Well, I just want to bring it back in again by using the white. Shape the lip a little better. I'm not going to put any more colour on that lip. I think I've got enough. I think it looks great. All I would do is maybe just put a little bit of, I'm not necessarily putting colour on, I'm just weakening just a little bit of that dark colour I put on there. That's better. It's not quite so stark. That's great. And then we'll just, as I say, I'll just go along doing what I'm doing here now, just so that you can copy it better and see what you need to do. Just see another thing. Oh, you can always pick up a little bit. If you pick it up a little bit there, a bit of red, a little bit of 187, and then you can blend it out. Great. Let me work in it a little bit more, but I think you look at it. Look how great that is becoming.